What is up, home workout and bodyweight exercise fans? It's late at night here in the Homemade Muscle headquarters, about 2 hours before I'll be going to sleep. And I was chilling here with my bro, Captain Jack Marrow, and thought of talking about my pre-sleep ritual. So I've talked a lot about my morning rituals, I've talked a lot about my pre-workout rituals, and one very important thing as well when it comes to your fitness goals is sleep. It affects your muscle growth. You need all those hormones related to muscle growth, those hormones to be regulated well, and sleep plays a big role with that. You need to basically, even for body composition, there have been studies showing that people who lack sleep chronically store fat a little bit more easily. And even for your mental health, a lack of sleep has also been correlated with depression. So in general, sleep is pretty good for you. You already knew that, but I thought of making that a bit more clear, reminding it to you. And today I'll be sharing some tips and the stuff basically that I do before going to bed. Starting with tip number 1 is avoiding to drink caffeinated beverages at least 6 hours before going to sleep. So, for example, I sleep around 10 or 11 o'clock p.m. and that's why I never drink any coffee after about 3 to 4 o'clock tops. Another thing is food. You should avoid overeating before going to bed, because if you've done it in the past, you know that you probably woke up from nightmares, sweats, and you didn't really got enough of sleep, or even if you did, it wasn't that satisfactory in the morning. It wasn't that it didn't really fulfill you, because the reality is that you didn't really get into deep states of sleep, because your digestive system just was overworking during the whole night. So try to eat a decent, good meal about 3 hours before going to bed, or if you eat a bit lighter at night, then if you're feeling a bit hungry again an hour before bed, try to have a snack, ideally something with some slowly digestible protein. So dairy things work, like cottage cheese, yogurt, or even supplement wise you can have protein, isolate protein, ideally that breaks down slowly. Or if you don't have that around your home, and you just use whey protein, like me, which is also cheaper, you can just mix that up with some milk, which is going to slow down the digestion. So let me check out here my list. What else? Stress related activities before going to bed. It goes without saying, you should avoid things that get you stressed before at least during that last 3-hour window before going to bed. So if your work stresses you up, try not to work late in the day. If you try to do all your work related stuff earlier. In general, whatever kind of activity you have during that time that's stressful, avoid it, change it, find a way to put it earlier in your day. One thing that can help you decompress from stress is also low intensity activity. So about 2 hours, try going for a big walk. That's something that always helped me decompress. Avoid high intensity activity though, because that's just gonna have the opposite effects to most people, at least. I know some people that work out really hard and just go to bed, and fall asleep within a few minutes. But for most people, high intensity activity late at night will have the opposite results. It will just wake you up and keep you awake longer than what you would like to. Next tip is light. Your body works at least optimally according to your circadian rhythm. That's basically your biological clock, and it basically means that you sleep better when it's dark outside. You wake up better when there's light outside. And the best times to sleep according to this clock are between 9 and 7 so 9 p.m. and 7 a.m. in the morning. So try to squeeze, put as much sleep as you can between those hours, and try to avoid a lot of high intensity lights. Again, during those last 3 hours before going to bed. So start switching off some lights, just use some small lamps, which is what I do. It's also going to save you some electricity, and also avoid screens. So screens, computer screens and all that, they've been even studied as well, and they do affect your sleep, because it's basically this source of light directly flashing at your eyes. And if you can't avoid screens before going to bed, there's another sort of alternative. There is a program you can use on your laptop or whatever, or all your smart devices, that decreases the type of light that affects this your circadian rhythm the most. So I don't remember the name of the app, but I'm gonna link it somewhere above. What else? Let's see here. Another thing that never failed me to get me basically early to bed was reading. I did that a lot last year. So usually within 30 to 50 minutes max, I would get to that sweet spot where my eyelids would just feel heavy and I would just easily fall asleep. So again, reading something relaxing, not like a horror novel or something like that, but what I'm doing these last weeks that improves my quality of sleep a ton is meditation. After my last retreat, I've been meditating every night for 30 minutes. So once I'm done, I get in my bed and I just sit on it, cross legs, and I meditate for 30 minutes without any light, and this just helps me so much. I remember in the retreat, people there told us to meditate an hour in the morning and an hour at night, and we all complained basically, because who has that much time for meditation nowadays? But they told us that you will actually save time by meditating at night, because it's gonna just improve so much the quality of your sleep that you'll even need less of it. So I was kind of skeptic when I heard that, but after trying it the last weeks, I see that it does actually work. So I'm sleeping less. Usually I needed 8 hours of sleep to feel really rested. Now I just sleep 7, but I can feel the difference. It's definitely a lot deeper quality sleep, because I just feel so much better in the morning. And this made me realize that we probably don't get enough of quality sleep. That's the biggest problem nowadays. I think we're so used to sleeping in light states of sleep and basically going to bed stressed, sleeping stressed, which is like completely, it's something that doesn't make any sense, but we've programmed ourselves nowadays with this crazy lifestyle to even be able to do that. So if that's the case with you, if you spend a lot of hours in bed but you don't seem to feel rested, your problem is probably quality sleep, not quantity of sleep. So find a good way to decompress before going to bed. In terms of supplements, I've heard a lot of good things about melatonin from friends. I've tried it in the past, didn't work for me, but it's shown really good signs for a lot of people. It has been studied. You can find more about this at examine.com. I'm gonna link it in the description below. So that was all for today. I hope this video helps, and until next time, keep on training.